Designing your space can be a challenge, especially when you're trying to work with limited budget. It can be very stressful. I totally understand this. Even if you are a professional, you're a student, or you're just trying to start out life, this is one of the major things we all go through and face. But it would surprise you to know that with a little bit of resourcefulness or a bit of creativity, you can achieve really exciting things with the limited budget you have. In this episode, we would be flipping the script and I'll be exploring with you, ways by which we can actually achieve, better things or better solutions for our small spaces or for our spaces with limited budget. Firstly, you need to know your budget. I mean, this might sound a bit boring, but knowing your budget is very important when it comes to decorating your space. A lot of time I get asked questions like how much should I use, or how much should my budget be in designing my space, or what should my budget be in designing my space. But really, I tend to tell people that you really cannot decide what your budget is, or I can decide what the budget should be for you, because decorating your space differs from person to person, as our desires and our want for our home or our dream home will also differ per person. But then the proper question would be, how much are you willing to spend, for your house to look like a dream home? Or how close are you willing to go in terms of spending to get that kind of home that you really desire? One of the things this would do for you is it would save you from, cutting corners and spending more money in spaces of the house than the other spaces, thereby making it look disjointed and making it look you've not spent enough money. Also, this would also help you, plan properly, in coming months by putting some money aside that can also be tagged as home improvement finance or home improvement funds. People's need differ, has different personality, would want different thing at different times within their spaces. This is the place where priority comes in designing of spaces or decorating of spaces when you have limited budget. As someone who would love to sit in front of the TV, who want to spend more money on buying a sofa, or someone that works from home would rather spend more money on buying a desk and an office chair, we need to also understand that designing actually takes time, or decorating actually takes time. We are living in a real world here, and we are not in a reality TV show where things are just done at the snap of a finger. For me, I would advise that in designing your spaces, you should break down your spaces into rooms if you have, different rooms within your space, or if you have an open plan, try to design or divide your space into zones. Another thing you could do is to have the list of things that are need the more essential things for you to live within the space, and a list of things that will categorize as wants that you can, probably get them along the line. Though you don't have them now, you can still function right in the space. Maybe in a two-bedroom, needs will be your bed, your sofa, your light, and your table. While your wants can be your mirrors, your artwork, your sideboard, and your dresser. If you have all these things locked down, you can, properly plan ahead, and your purchases can be partitioned into, smaller bits without putting, a stress on your purse. Another option is to go through the second hand and the upcycling route. Yes, this might be quite a challenging route, but mostly if you can persevere and go through that route, it would surprise you gems that you can find at local vintage stores. And like, also you can look at furniture items you have within the space that maybe are not looking so great, and you can uplift them by giving them a little bit of care in terms of furniture care and the likes. Also, if you have sofas that you don't like the color again, you might want to think of upholstering them. Or if you have maybe very vintage furniture piece, you might want to giving them a bit of life here and there. in trying to decorate or design your space with limited budget is the use of plants to bring fresh air within the space. You can get yourself really nice plants that also like throw colors within the space and also bring in good air within the space. Arranging these plants at different various part of the house are very important, and they also would also facilitate the decoration of the house. Another way you can design your home, while working on limited budget is trying also not to focus too much on the aesthetics. The little things really matters when it comes to designing or decorating your space. Spending more money or spending a little bit or half of the fortune you want to spend in designing your space and spending them on things like candles or diffusers or little things that can also have had a bit of sense, a bit of liveliness to the house, will also go a long way. So you might want to, consider buying yourself, really good diffusers, really good candlesticks, and the like. People think that lighting is one of the last things to do when it comes to decorating your homes, but then it would shock you that different lighting features within the space can also elevate the look of the house. With the combination of all the kind of lights that we might have within the space, such as the overhead light, the ambience light, the task light, and also the accent light, would give your home a more pleasant and a very welcoming look. I would also advise that you don't use too much colors of light within the same space, like using the warm light and the bright light within the same space. It's not really a good way of designing or decorating your space. Standard or international practice, like I always say, would always advise that you use 2700 Kelvin to 4000 Kelvin, depending on the size of the space. This would always help the space look more homely and welcoming. Lastly, on this video, I would also want to suggest that you invest in buying yourself large artworks, mirrors, different things such as wallpapers and rugs, as these are little things that you can get yourself that can really elevate the look of your house without spending or breaking the bank. And most importantly, I want us to remember that take your time, don't rush it. Rushing would not really get you anywhere. To take your time. Like I said earlier in the video, this is real life and not a reality TV show, so trust the process. Thank you very much for joining me on this one. See you on the next one.